Interpretation: Pride and Prejudice. Opening: a marriage game in the Regency-era. In early 19th century Regency England, country balls were not just social events but vivid snapshots of class and human maneuvering. Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice opens with a marriage, unfurling a tapestry woven with class, love, and human nature. The novel's iconic opening line rings out, "Every single man of fortune must be in want of a wife." This is more than witty banter, it's a sharp summary of Regency-era marriage rules. In a world where identity was defined by inheritance, estates, and titles, marriage was not just a romantic haven but a contract for family status and financial security. With a delicate pen, Austen transforms rural English society into a chessboard. Its piece is a cast of diverse characters, its board the rigid norms of class and subtle relationships. The Regency era marked Britain's shift from an agrarian to an industrial society, where aristocratic estate economies clashed with the rising wealth of the bourgeoisie, sparking complex social mobility. Women in this system were especially powerless, as inheritance typically favored men, leaving marriage as their only path to alter their fate, unless they had a substantial dowry. The five Bennet sisters, caught in this reality, are thrust by their mothers into the marriage market to secure financially stable partners. Yet Austen doesn't merely critique these rules, she uses Elizabeth Bennet's perspective to reveal the tension between personal choice and societal expectations. Why does this novel, over 2 centuries old, still captivate? It's not just a love story but a mirror reflecting humanity's struggle between rules and emotions. Through Austen's lens, marriage is a chess game, each move tied to dignity, love, and survival, and her genius lies in showing the boundless possibilities beyond the board. Part 1. The players on the board. Pride and Prejudice revolves around the Bennet family, with the sisters' marriage choices shaping their family's fate like moves on a chessboard. Mr. Bennet, a gentleman, faces a dilemma. With no male heir, his estate will pass to a distant nephew, Mr. Collins, pressing Mrs. Bennet to find wealthy suitors for her daughters. Jane, the eldest, is gentle and kind. Elizabeth, the second, is sharp and independent. Mary is bookish. Kitty and Lydia are frivolous and vain. These sisters' distinct personalities created the novel's first layer of narrative tension. Each navigates marriage pressures in her own way. Jane's love story kicks off first. Her meetings with Mr. Bingley at the Marathon Ball sparks romance, his warmth and wealth making him an ideal catch. Yet Bingley's indecision and his friends' meddling complicated their budding relationship. Jane's kindness leads her to patience, but it also reveals her passivity. Her love for Bingley is sincere yet reserved, and even when mistaken for indifference, she hesitates to clarify. Elizabeth, by contrast, shines with agency and wit. Her rejection of Mr. Darcy's first proposal is not just a rebuke of his arrogance but a defense of her self-respect. Darcy's wealth and status are trump cards in the marriage market, but Elizabeth challenges these rules with her intelligence and spirit. Her sharp tongue, as when she counters Darcy's haughty remarks at a ball, embodies a woman's defiance in a male-dominated world. The other sisters' paths are equally thought-provoking. Lydia's elopement nearly ruins the family's reputation, her recklessness and impulsiveness, fueled by blind romanticism and ignorance of consequences. Mr. Collins' proposal exposes the mercenary side of marriage, leveraging his inheritance rights to secure status through wedlock. Mary's pedantic nature and Kitty's conformity highlight the marginalization of women in the marriage market. These intertwined fates paint a portrait of Regency-era women, some yielding, some resisting, some faltering, all seeking their place within societal rules. Austen enriches the game with secondary characters. Mrs. Bennet's incessant chatter and anxiety stem from fears for her family's future, her comical excess revealing women's economic vulnerability. Mr. Bennet, with his sardonic wits, masks his failure as a responsible father. His humor lightens the novel but hints at male absence in family duties. This multi-threaded storytelling forms a mosaic, each piece carrying unique emotions and choices, sketching the intricate social landscape of the Regency era. Part 2. The Clash of Pride and Prejudice. The novel's central conflict springs from Elizabeth and Darcy's pride and prejudice. Darcy debuts with aloof disdain, dismissing the country ball and calling Elizabeth tolerable, but not handsome enough to tempt me. This remark wounds Elizabeth and sows the seeds of their misunderstanding. Elizabeth's prejudice stems from her snap judgment of Darcy as arrogant and selfish, deepened by Mr. Wickham's lies about Darcy's supposed wrongs. Wickham's charming and fabricated tale of being cheated by Darcy leads Elizabeth to view Darcy as a moral failure. Yet Austen avoids crafting them as mere opposites. Darcy's pride is a shield forged by his social rank and responsibilities. Burdened by family expectations and a vast estate, he uses reason and distance to guard himself. His reserve reflects caution in unfamiliar settings, not contempt for the gentry. Elizabeth's prejudice flows from her yearning for freedom and equality. She refuses to be defined by wealth or status, choosing spinsterhood over a loveless marriage. Her wits and candors, sparring with Darcy, challenged societal norms. This clash isn't just personal, it's a collision of values. Darcy embodies traditional aristocratic order, Elizabeth emerging individualism. As the story unfolds, their misconceptions unravel. Darcy's first proposal, though marred by pride, reveals his genuine feelings. In a letter, he explains his actions and exposes Wickham's deceit, prompting Elizabeth to question her judgments. This letter marks a narrative pivot and the start of their emotional connection. Darcy's honesty unveils his inner struggles and sincerity. Elizabeth's rejection teaches Darcy respect and self-reflection. His later actions, like quietly aiding Lydia, showed his shift from pride to humility. Elizabeth, shedding her prejudice, learns to view others with greater openness. Her visit to Pemberley, hearing the housekeeper's praise of Darcy, reshapes her view of his character. This mutual growth elevates their romance beyond mere passion into a journey of self-discovery. Austen's attention to dialogue details captures the subtlety of their psychological shifts. In his first proposal, Darcy admits he loves Elizabeth, against his reason, a conflicted confession revealing both pride and truth. Elizabeth's fiery refusal, though sharp, betrays curiosity about his motives. This conversational tension keeps readers hooked on both the plot and the characters' inner complexity. Part 3. Marriage as Contract and Humanity. In Pride and Prejudice, marriage is not just a symbol of love but a societal contract. Austen reveals its facets through varied character choices. Jane and Bingley's marriage embodies idealized love, rooted in mutual attraction and compatible temperaments. Their bond, though tested, triumphs through sincerity and perseverance. Elizabeth and Darcy's union carries deeper weight, forged in overcoming pride and prejudice to build a partnership of respect and understanding. Their marriage is not just romantic victory but the pinnacle of personal growth. Other marriages carry tragic hues. Mr. Collins and Charlotte's union is a stark transaction. Charlotte, pressed by financial insecurity, accepts Collins for stability, sacrificing love. Her choice, though pragmatic, underscores women's economic plight. Lydia and Wickham's marriage is more disastrous, born of impulse and vanity, salvaged only by Darcy's intervention. It exposes Lydia's folly and society's harsh judgment of women's missteps, as her error nearly dooms her family's honor. Austen doesn't explicitly judge these choices but lets nuanced portrayals spark reflection. Is Charlotte's loveless but secure marriage a rational trade-off? Is her compromise more pitiable than Lydia's recklessness? These questions lift the novel beyond moralizing, making it a timeless exploration of choice and humanity. Through the Bennet's marriage, Austen exposes the fallout of incompatibility. Mrs. Bennet's shallowness and Mr. Bennet's irresponsibility weakened family guidance, indirectly causing Lydia's downfall. This detail highlights marriage's lasting impact on family destiny. Broadly, marriage contracts mirror Regency social rules. Women gained economic security through marriage, men's status, a transactional core pervasive in the novel. Austen's sly humor mocks this absurdity, as in Colin's pompous proposal speech. Her satire amuses while urging us to question, must marriage always blend love and utility? Part 4. A microcosm of the Regency era. Pride and Prejudice is more than a collection of personal tales, it's a panorama of Regency England. Austen sets her stage in the countryside, showcasing interactions among aristocracy, landowners, and the rising bourgeoisie. Darcy's Pemberley estate symbolizes aristocratic power, its elegance and order reflecting the nobility's cultural depth. Bingley's leased manor represents the fluidity of new wealth, his affability and fortune tied to the Industrial Revolution's social shifts. The Bennets, as declining gentry, sit between these worlds, embodying the subtle tensions of social mobility. Their financial strain, with the estate passing to Collins, mirrors inheritance law's burden on middle-class families. The novel's details reveal women's struggles in this era. Mrs. Bennet's fretfulness, though comical, stems from real fears for her family's future, exposing women's economic vulnerability. Elizabeth's independence challenges these norms. Her refusal of Colin's proposal defends her happiness and asserts women's autonomy. Austen's wit skewers society's hypocrisy and greed, from Colin's fawning to Caroline Bingley's snobbery. These sketches entertain while unveiling the era's full scope. Regency cultural nuances shine through. Balls, as social hubs, mirror classes and relationships, with the Marathon Ball igniting Elizabeth and Darcy's conflicts and displaying social hierarchies. Letters carry characters' inner worlds, Darcy's letter serving as both plot pivots and emotional bridges to Elizabeth. These elements grounded the novel historically, making it a treasure for studying the Regency era. Secondary characters and diversity. Wickham, an opportunistic soldier, embodies the ambitions and amoralities of the lower classes. The Gardners, as prudent merchants, reflect the emerging middle class's stability. These portraits make the novel not just a romance but a social chronicle, capturing the Regency's transformative complexity. Part 5. Austen's female perspective. As a woman writer, Austen infuses Pride and Prejudice with sharp gender awareness. Her women are not passive players in the marriage market but individuals with distinct thoughts and feelings. Elizabeth embodies this best. Her wit and courage let her stand firm against Darcy's pride and Colin's opportunism, holding fast to her identity. Her declaration, "I am not marrying for money," is both a romantic vow and a defense of female dignity. In an era of reducing women to dowries and looks, Elizabeth's independence is revolutionary. Austen's portrayals of other women blend empathy and critique. Jane's gentleness is lovely but renders her overly passive in love. Charlotte's compromise, though rational, reveals women's economic binds. Lydia's recklessness highlights society's harsh standards for women's conduct. Austen doesn't craft perfect role models but shows women's varied fates in a male-driven world through their flaws and choices. This nuanced gender lens elevates the novel beyond romance, marking an early voice of female consciousness. Austen's female gaze also scrutinizes men. Darcy's pride, Colin's absurdity, and Wickham's deceit are exposed through women's eyes. Elizabeth's perspective drives not just romance but a critique of male power structures. Her evolving view of Darcy stems from his character, not his wealth. This female-led narrative, rare for its time, subtly calls for gender equality. Austen's humor and satire carve out space for women's voices. Mrs. Bennet's theatrics, though laughable, vented social pressures. Elizabeth's clever banter wields female intellect as a weapon of resistance. Austen's women may not rewrite rules, but their wit and spirit let them claim their voice within them. This female perspective makes Pride and Prejudice a literary cornerstone and a foundation for feminist literature. Part 6. Literary Impacts and Adaptations. Pride and Prejudice resonates far beyond its era. As Austen's masterpiece, it laid the groundwork for British realist novels and inspired romantic and social fiction. Her narrative techniques, flexible three-person shifts, and intricate psychological portraits influenced writers from Dickens to Woolf. Her humor and satire injected a sprightly style into English literature, echoed by Charlotte Brontë and others. The novel's adaptation history is vibrant. From the 1940 Hollywood film to the 1995 BBC miniseries, it's been reimagined on screen, each version striving to capture its essence. The 1995 BBC series, with its fidelity and Colin Firth's iconic Darcy, is a definitive adaptation. Its meticulous sets, from Pemberley's grandeur to Meryton's lively balls, recreate Regency society vividly. The 2005 film, with Keira Knightley's Elizabeth and a modern pace, drew younger fans, though its cuts stirred debate. Adaptations amplify the novel's allure and spark fresh interpretations. Modern versions often emphasize Elizabeth's feminist traits, casting her as a symbol of independence. Cross-cultural takes, like India's Pride and Prejudice, transplanting the tale to modern South Asia, probing globalized love and class issues. These adaptations prove the story's timeless universality, resonating across cultures. The novel's cultural footprint extends to pop culture. From Bridget Jones' Diary to Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, Austen's tale is endlessly reimagined, a shorthand for romance and wit. These derivatives, varied as they are, preserve Austen's core, keen human insight and the quest for true love. This vast influence announcements Pride and Prejudice as not just a novel but a cultural emblem, inspiring creators and readers alike. Part 7. Character Arcs and Growth. Elizabeth and Darcy's growth is the novel's emotional core. Elizabeth evolves from sharp prejudice to gracious reflection. Her transformation unfolds gradually through key moments. Darcy's letter forces her to question Wickham's lies. Pemberley's visit reveals Darcy's sincerity. Lydia's crisis teaches her family duties. These experiences turned her from a sardonic young woman into one who understands others. Her growth lies not just in warming to Darcy but in recognizing her own limits. Once proud of her wit, she learns humility after misjudging Wickham. Darcy's arc is equally compelling. His pride, rooted in status and upbringing, crumbles under Elizabeth's rejection, exposing his flaws. He proves his changes through actions, like rescuing Lydia and respecting Elizabeth's autonomy. His second proposal, free of superiority, is grounded in equality and sincerity. This growth wins him love and completes him as a person. Austen fleshes out Darcy through others, like his sister Georgiana's admiration, revealing his private warmth and duties. Other characters' arcs enrich the tale. Jane gains resilience after romantic setbacks, her quiet strength securing happiness. Bingley, guided by Darcy, grows decisive, his hesitancy balanced by kindness. Mr. Bennet, shaken by Lydia's crisis, rethinks his parenting, his detachment giving way to responsibility. These shifts create a dynamic narrative, making characters vivid and real. Minor characters show subtler growth. Caroline Bingley's snobbery, though persistent, softens under Darcy's rebuffs. Colin's pomposity endures, but Charlotte's influence lends him faint humanity. These nuances make the novel's ensemble three-dimensional, showing humanity's complex adaptations under social pressure. Part 8. Symbolism and Narrative Craft. Austen's narrative artistry is why Pride and Prejudice endures. Her third-person perspective nimbly shifts between characters' minds, adding depth. Elizabeth's wit and Darcy's restraint shine through inner monologues, vivid and relatable. This technique bridges readers and characters, making psychological conflicts palpable. Austen drives the plot through dialogue, like Elizabeth and Darcy's ball sparring, which sparks conflict and foreshadows misunderstandings. Symbolic imagery abounds. Pemberley isn't just Darcy's home but a mirror of his character and duties. Elizabeth's its elegance during her visit signals her reassessment of Darcy. Balls symbolize the social stage, each clash advancing the story. Letters bridge communications, with Darcy's letters as both plot hinges and emotional catalysts. Austen's letter details, like Darcy's shift from stiff to heartfelt tone, trace character growth. Her humor and satire lend unique charm. Exaggerated portrayals, like Mrs. Bennet's prattle or Colin's buffoonery, mock societal vanity and folly. Colin's proposal speech, dripping with self-important absurdity, amuses while exposing the marriage market's farce. This humor makes the novel accessible yet prompts deeper reflection. Austen's irony, as when Darcy's dismissive "not handsome enough" leads to his own captivation, under fate scores as whimsy. Part 9. Universal Themes and Modern Lessons. Though set in the Regency era, Pride and Prejudice speaks universally. Pride and Prejudice aren't just Elizabeth and Darcy's traits but common human flaws. Have we ever misjudged someone based on a first impression? Or let pride block understanding? Austen's story teaches that true growth lies in shedding biases, listening, and embracing others. In today's world, Pride and Prejudice persist. Workplace stereotypes and social media spats can trap us in misunderstandings. Austen's wisdom offers a path: approach others openly and correct ourselves sincerely. Love is the novel's heart, but Austen's vision transcends romance. She champions partnerships built on respect, understanding, and equality. Elizabeth and Darcy's bond isn't a trade of wealth or status but a meeting of minds. This resonates today as modern marriages value mutual growth over one-sided reliance, echoing Austen's ideals. Her love philosophy reminds us that, across eras, love's essence is mutual fulfillment. The novel also probes balancing self and society. Elizabeth's fierce individuality clashes with norms, yet she finds her place through wit and compromise. This mirrors modern dilemmas, like balancing personality and teamwork at work. Austen suggests true wisdom holds fast to self while respecting others. Through minor characters' fates, the novel explores choices' consequences. Charlotte's compromise and Lydia's rashness reflect human frailties. Modern readers may see themselves: have we compromised under pressure? Regretted impulsive acts? Austen offers no pat answers, inviting us to find our own through her stories. Conclusion: from chessboard to life. Pride and Prejudice is a masterful chess game, each move brimming with strategy and emotion. Austen's pen crafts vibrant characters, guiding us through Regency villages to glimpse humanity's complexity and beauty. Elizabeth and Darcy's tale is more than a love saga, it's a journey of growth, understanding, and acceptance. Jane's gentleness, Charlotte's pragmatism, and Lydia's impulsiveness form a multifaceted mirror, reflecting our own choices. Today, we may not be bound by estates or titles, but Pride and Prejudice linger. They lurk in arguments, misunderstandings, or snap judgments. Austen's genius lies in exposing these flaws and charting a path beyond, facing others openly, correcting ourselves earnestly. Her story reminds us that true happiness comes not from besting others but from conquering our limits to find balance. Let this chessboard inspire us. No matter the era, life is a journey of choice and growth. Each step may challenge us, but with wisdom and courage, we can carve our path to joy. Pride and Prejudice is more than a novel, it's a guide to humanity, steering us through a complex world to find love and dignity's home.